Guys, welcome back. So for part 2, right, we're going to ask, is there a change in the number of functional group? Or is there a change in position of functional group? Okay, so there's a couple of questions. Let's address the second question first, the position, right? So if the position of the functional group goes from a less substituted to a more substituted position, then we have to think about using elimination. Use elimination to get your alkenes. Then you do electrophilic addition to get the functional group to be on a more substituted, more substituted position. Okay, why does this happen, right? Because when you do electrophilic addition, right, what you're trying to do is you're trying to actually add something across a CC double bond, and this addition, right, would proceed via Markovnikov rule. Okay, so when you have this Markovnikov rule, your functional group will go from the less substituted to the more substituted position. So if you're not sure why that happens, please go back and revise your alkenes, the mechanism. Okay, so that is if it goes from a less to a more substituted position. Is there such a thing like we go from a more substituted to a less substituted position? In your syllabus, there's no reaction that can allow you to go from more substituted to less substituted. All right, but they can give you a contextual question with a novel reaction that actually does this conversion. Okay, but that's depending on the question. Okay, so let's carry on from here. So this is for the position of functional group, right? How about the number of functional group? Okay, we're not going to really talk about if functional group decreases. If functional group decrease, the number of functional group actually decreases, which will mean that you're getting rid of functional group. This is very simple. You basically do elimination. Then you actually do a reduction with H2 gas. Okay, once you do that, you get alkanes, which basically means that the question stops there. Okay, so this is not a very often asked question. So most of the time there is the same number of functional group or there is an increase. Okay, let's talk about. Let me just. Okay, let's talk about if the functional group were to increase, right? The number of functional group were to increase. What can we do, right? We can actually do elimination again to get your alkenes. And then we can add either a halogen or we can get a aqueous halogen added. Okay, so both of them will actually give either a halogen BR added, Cl added, or BrOH added, in which case you will still get two functional group. Okay, so you can use this to get an increase in functional group, or the other way is you can use the HCN method, which we have talked about during the step up question earlier. So you can use this method to get hydroxyl nitrile, two functional groups, an increase of one. But this method will actually entail also a step up. So if you want to increase the number of functional group, but you don't want to step up, you don't want to increase the number of carbon, right, in the carbon chain, then you shouldn't involve this HCN. So by the way, guys, in order to do all this elimination process, right, you got to make sure that there are things to eliminate. Okay, so you either have water to eliminate, or X2 to eliminate, or HX to eliminate. So there is a few things that you will need. Any functional group that you can eliminate. So these are the common ones which you can use to eliminate. If you don't see these, right, most of the time you cannot do elimination. All right. So depending on your question, you got to ask yourself, number one, there a change in the carbon chain? Okay. Number two, is there a change in your functional group? Okay. So hope this series helped you in your synthesis question. Subscribe for more.